Hi, my name's Robert Stanier. I'm the vicar of St Andrews and St Mark's, Surbiton, and in the next 5 minutes what I'm going to be showing you is how our church goes about financially from year to year, and why I'm asking people to consider increasing their donations to the church by 20%. But if you want to understand what's going on, I will try and go through a typical year, and I'll explain how our normal income comes and where our expenditure normally comes from. And I've got a visual aid for this. It's not that high tech, it is Duplo, but I'm going to start with where we get our money from. And the first thing is this represents just under £100,000 worth of giving. Most of that is planned giving. People buy direct debits, but some of it is open collections, and also there's a big chunk which is gift aid, which is when we get the tax back from the government on that giving to charity. So that's just under that. And then the second big building block is this. It is lettings. We get an awful lot from lettings because we have so many people who use the buildings, whether that's for a birthday party, a Zumba class, voting in a general election, or we do get some revenue for each of those things. So in a typical year, that could be up to £100,000. As well as that, we get some fees from like funerals and stuff like that, and we raise money for Christmas fairs. And finally, we do get some money from investments, which the parish has had historically. So overall, it adds up to about £240,000. And that is what it looked like in a typical year, if you like. Where does that money go? Well, the biggest place, Duplo again, is I've written it up as the diocese. The diocese is a sort of central part. It's called the Diocese of Southwark, and they would take charge of housing for people like me, my stipend, which is like a salary, pensions. Also, they deal with safeguarding, legal stuff. Crucially, training new priests as well. That is paid for by the diocese. So we would give about £115,000. Now, that's probably more than, if you divided all the parishes up, each parish would only need to give about 75, but we also recognise that we are a wealthier parish, to be honest, a slightly bigger church, and we should be giving more to the diocese than other people because they just can't afford it. So the biggest single cost is the money we give to the diocese, which comes back really for paying for priests. Then there are loads and loads of smaller costs. So the first one is I put up is maintenance, which is when there's always something going wrong. These are wonderful buildings, but they're old buildings, and it could be a boiler, it could be the roof, it could be the pipes. Something will go wrong with the electric. So you need to keep spending money on these buildings to keep them in good shape. Then I've got here insurance. They're expensive buildings as well because insuring them is quite expensive because they're so wonderful. Our utility bills, that's our gas, heating, electricity, water, that costs. Music, we pay, we have a director of music who's paid, and organs themselves are quite expensive instruments. Administration here, that's we pay a paid administrator 4 days a week, but also we have a kind of photocopier and all that kind of stuff. And finally I put MISC, to cover the curate's housing, deanery, synod, bits and bobs. But anyway, as you can see, that roughly adds up in a typical year to about the same. So we get about £240,000 and we give about £240,000. And so that's kind of where we are normally. Now, things have changed, and I'm going to start looking at where we get our money from. And probably no surprise, you'll see we've been really, really affected by lockdowns which have been caused by COVID. And the place we've been really affected is here, this bit which is lettings, because we just haven't been able to let out our buildings like we normally would. Because the after-school club's been cancelled, the children's birthday parties don't happen, the dance classes have been cancelled, and so the income from lettings, although we've done bits and bobs, has been absolutely smashed to pieces, and we've not really been able to do our Christmas fairs nearly as much as we'd hoped to as well. So we have been running at a deficit, and one of the things we did think, well, how can we solve this, is we told the diocese last year, look, we just can't afford to give as much as we did last year, so we cut what we give to the diocese by £15,000. Even so, we still ran at a deficit, and we're running at a deficit right now. So the first reason that I'm asking you to give is how can we get out of this hole? This is out of our control. Eventually it will come back, but it's not at the moment. So I'm trying to increase this section, the giving section, and we're hoping to increase this by 20%, and that will make a real boost towards thinning out the deficit. And ultimately, of course, we will get lettings back. People will come back. So that should mean that we're running in a better place. And that means we're in a really exciting position. The first thing to do we'll try and restore our giving to the diocese, because it's important to give to places which are poorer than us so they can have ministry, Christian ministry there as well. But also we're left with a little bit extra. And this is where we can decide what we want to do. And a while ago we thought, well, the thing we really need is a children and families worker and some support around there, and that's what we were going to aim to do. We recognise now that we know COVID has changed Surbiton and the world, but we don't know quite what the world would look like. What will Surbiton need in 18 months to 2 years' time? And I think there will be a place where we're looking to invest to support Surbiton and our ministry here, but we're not quite sure what it is yet. But I know we want to get in that position. So that's why you're giving now to shore up the deficit, but hopefully in the future to make the church really thrive. This parish is a fantastic parish. Obviously I'm biased, but I'm very proud to be the vicar here. There are so many reasons you can get behind the parish. You may like the sermons, but it may be you love the music, it may be you love the buildings, it may be you love the fact that we're open for people, it may be the fact that we're in the community, it may be all sorts of things that you want to support. But I hope you will consider the financial giving you offer to St Andrews and St Mark's. As I say, we're looking to increase that by 20%. Not everyone's going to be in a position to do that. We know that, but hopefully new people will join the giving scheme because they'll want to make a difference as well. And that way we hope we'll be able to increase our planned giving by 20%. That's what we're asking this month. Thank you very much for watching.